Western Australia is a vast territory. To enter mining country, you have to fly hundreds of miles into the bush. But this is no empty land. It has a long history. A series of dirt roads took me deep into the territory of the Wurundjeri Aboriginal people.
This is the Wurundjeri country, this is Weld on a rock.
Colin Hamlett is an elder of the tribe. He wanted to show me his ancestral home, a land of songlines and sacred places. This is Walgana, for millennia a meeting place for Aboriginal peoples. Colin, tell me about this amazing piece of rock.
This amazing piece of rock that shows you the emu's feet here.
That's an emu's foot?
Yeah, there's two. We walk this way.
Yeah.
And there's a hand there.
Up here?
Yeah.
And it keeps going?
It keeps going all along.
Is it, as we walk along it, is it actually telling a story, do you think?
But if you can read the story, it's telling you a story. It tells you about travels, where people travelled and things like that, and where they stayed.
Can you read it?
Oh, some of it I can read, but I can't read it all.
Are there messages in here from your ancestors to you?
Telling people, not only to me, but to Wurundjeri people as a whole that come here. If they can read the signs, and they will understand what it's all about.
And those are messages that have lasted for thousands of years?
Thousands of years. I've got no idea how long they've been there.
How do you, it's a very special place. How do you feel as you see it?
I feel very proud to be a part of this.
A short drive from Walgana, a line of hills known as the Weld Range rises from the plateau. A ridge of rock rich in iron ore and ripe for mining. The right to strip out up to 300 million tons of ore from these hills is in the hands of another Chinese company, Sinosteel. But they can't do it without the agreement of traditional landholders like Colin Hamlett, whose great-grandmother lies buried in these hills.
My worries are about specific areas that we don't want to touch, and they keep wanting to do it, you know. That's the worry for me.
Isn't part of the worry for you as one community leader that there are other elements in your community who disagree with you, who actually want, in this case, Sinosteel, to go ahead with the project and to improve the economy of the area as quickly as possible?
Yeah, that happens throughout WA, everybody, you know. There's divisions between Aboriginal people, and these are sort of things that create these divisions.
Of course, the mining rights for this particular area, and it promises billions of dollars in profits, actually belong to a Chinese state-owned company, Sinosteel Midwest. What would your message to the top executives of that Chinese company be?
Preserve the real heritage stuff that we need preserved for future generations of our families to appreciate.
Do you think when they are making their calculations in Beijing and Shanghai, do you think they're really going to listen to an Aboriginal local community leader in Western Australia saying, respect my heritage?
I doubt it. I've got no ideas whether they will or not. I don't know. I really don't know.
Does it sometimes leave you feeling pretty depressed?
It does. But I have a good relationship with the Chinese that I've actually been talking to. The Chinese media came out here and we sat in the cave over here and had a chat with Tony, you know.
Tony Chang, who's the boss of Sinosteel.
I got respect for him, he got respect for me, and we actually get on very well. But then there's people that work under Tony. These are the ones we have problems from time to time.
Mm. In your heart, Colin, would you like to see no mining at all in this area of Western Australia?
Well, most Aboriginal people wouldn't like to see mining happen in this area. However, it's the inevitable, regardless of what Aboriginal people want.
So if it's inevitable, and if I were to come back in 20 years' time, what do you think I would see here?
You see big holes in the ground all over the place.
I might also see an Indigenous community, Aboriginal people, who've got a better standard of living.
Overall, there'll be a small number of people who will benefit Aboriginal people out of it.
And the rest?
Nothing.
Colin Hamlett, thank you very much for being on Hard Talk.
You're welcome.
Around the other side of the hill is Sinosteel's exploration camp. They have air conditioning, power showers, and a single-minded focus on digging out the riches underground. This is where you lay out your drill samples. Exploration Chief Dennis Kruger has sampled and tested enough rock to know this is an attractive project, but he has to tread carefully. Wherever you dig, it is going to make one heck of a hole in the landscape.
Big holes. Mm-hmm.
And I suppose the issue then is what it's going to look like if you extract the 200 or 300 million tonnes of iron ore.
Well, part of the hill's got to disappear because it's hosted within the hill. But there are environmental considerations that come into play. The company can't just go and, shall we say, willy-nilly mine the hill. There's got to be an environmental protection plan in place approved by the government.
It's extraordinarily complicated, isn't it? Because I know these yellow little sections here, in areas where you want to mine, they represent traces found, archaeological remains of Aboriginal life over hundreds of years, and you've got to be very careful about those areas.
We do. Once the company signs the mining agreement with the Wodjiri, we then are, at that stage, we can apply for what they call Section 18 applications. So we apply for that. We will sit down with the Wodjiri, discuss the areas we've applied for. They will give their consent. Yes, we're happy for you to go in there. If there's any disturbance of their sites, the mining agreement allows for compensation for those sites to be disturbed or moved.
Is this going to happen, do you think?
My opinion, yes, it will happen. It will happen, yeah.
It's going to change this place forever.
Yep.
These hills are littered with the archaeological remains of thousands of years of Aboriginal life, but they also contain hundreds of millions of tonnes of iron ore, and so often money talks louder than history and heritage. Within 20 years, many of these hills will be dug up and their bounty shipped off to China.